This is Gary Kay. We're here at InfoComm 2023. We're here in the back of the eSports venue that was built here on the show floor. A collaboration between Avixa and AVI Systems, among other companies that participated in this. I'm here with the only guy on the show floor that needs no introduction, Joe Way, who runs HETMA, Higher Education Technology Managers Alliance. You've really done a really amazing job, sort of like coalescing or grabbing all of the needs and the desires of higher education to be recognized by the rAVe industry and build them inside of your organization. So first off, thanks on behalf of higher education institutions, including my own, for doing it, and second, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It's been amazing to actually have a booth here at the floor and to see our community. You know, you work in higher ed on a 9 to 5, right? You have that, know what it's like to kind of be lost on an island, especially when you're siloed in a school. And now to have a community come together, and I mean, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of scans in the first hour and a half because of people who said, I was told I need to come find my people, and to just go straight there. And that was amazing. And to just see the community come together in a physical, tangible way, I can't even put it into words.
Well, if you want to join, you can go to hetma.org and all the details are there. But I want to ask you about esports. We're here in the esports arena, and let's focus on esports for a moment. Obviously, you're running rAVe at a giant private university, the USC, University of Southern California. You're one of those universities that has a lot of money compared to most universities. So I'm curious, I mean, as big as you are and as successful as you are with your athletic programs, where is esports in the chain of interest at USC on campus?
Yeah, you know, it was funny because I've always thought, you know, this esports, where people just actually like do gaming stuff as something that's serious. And we held an event right before our USC-UCLA football game every year where they go up there and the football team comes out, the head coach comes out, and they do all that stuff. And then they also did and brought out the eSports team. And the eSports team got a larger applause from the student body than the actual football.
How big is the eSports team?
They've got, I think it's like 6 different teams in the different games that they do, and that's why we just built our digital creative lab, our esports arena, because we needed a space for our students to be able to thrive and to be able to not just play games, but to actually work and build the business of esports from broadcast that's tied into it.
What is in your facility? What is it? Is it a practice facility or is it a gaming facility?
It's a combination of both. We actually look at it as more of a teaching facility. So we do a combination. It does have the multiple, I think 20-some actual stations where they can play and they can compete, along with the Shoutcaster station. But also we have a full production studio built into it as well, along with a space for them to be able to create the content, the lower thirds that might stream, to be able to actually have a production studio along with podcasting studios. We continue to just build it so that multiple disciplines can come together, because we know a lot of the people who are into esports doesn't mean that they're necessarily a computer science student or they're a gaming student. They might be a humanities student, but there's still something that they want to do and they want to, be able to work with others with. So we really created as a collaboration space between multiple disciplines.
Well, let's talk about the technology that you used. Esports. My understanding of esports is that it's sort of 3 systems in one. You have the real-time system of the players, and then you have the delayed system of the audience. You can't let them see it totally in real time because they could potentially cheat if they're that good, the players. And then you have the streaming, right? You have the separate system. What parts of that did you do, and what did you decide to use? Are you using AV over IP? Or are you using traditional HDMI? Tell me what your system is built from.
Yeah, so we wanted it to be AV over IP, and so we actually use IPMX. The SMPTE 2110 is actually built for all of the ingestion of the content. We did fiber from every single computer location into the Panasonic Keros system, so that's what they use.
I figured you use the Keros. Yeah.
Yep, and then from there we then use NVX to send the content out. Yeah, and then
that way we don't have to worry about the delay or anything when we're going back out.
Exactly. And now, and again, then it works in with our system, so we can route to anywhere and be able to have overflow and all of that.
What do you use for H.264 streaming?
I have no idea.
You don't know? Yeah. There's so many products out there. I'm actually not surprised. But what do you have did you go out and get just some advice to, we have a lot of people on here. There are other universities that might be interested in doing this. Did you go out and seek donations from any of the gaming companies? Did you contact Epic or Overwatch or any of these leagues and say, we're going to do this, can you help support this, and what kind of money might be out there?
Let me say how much money is out there. I had no idea. And of course, when we're in Los Angeles, we got the home of Blizzard and EA and all these companies that are right there who actually recruit a lot of our students when they graduate. So when they found out we were building this space, everyone came out of the woodwork and said, look, we want to be able to.
So the money's there.
The money is there, and it's a lot.
And in fact, the tournaments, from what I understand, for the most part, are funded by the big gaming companies, right? It's not like and they set the rules too, right? They set the rules for what the delay is going to be, and how many rounds you're going to play, and how you win, and it kind of, there's these separate leagues that are managed by the gaming companies, right? Because it's an emerging market.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it was kind of a learning experience, to be honest. Like for AV professionals, it's a whole different world, right? And you have to understand something completely different than just you're not sending content one place to another. There's a lot that goes into it. Like you referenced delay, right? We always say we never want to see delay, and they're like, well, no, you need like 4 minutes or whatever it is, right? You find that we're always talking about we want really large screens. And you find out the players are like, no, I don't want to move my eyes. I want a high refresh rate, right? So there's certain things that you just have to think of it differently. And it is a learning curve. And I think that's kind of my advice to people. When you're building a place like this, you really have to get to understand the customer. The customer is the person playing. What is it that they're doing? Which really, we should do that anyway in AV. But it really is a different discipline than we're used to having. And that's really, we see that when the companies come out, they do have different leagues. They do have their own rules. And there are things you have to pay attention to and you have to be able to account for.
Well, I'll tell you, one way to help yourself is to become a member of HETMA, because they are all working together. Because I don't know how many member organizations you have, but a few hundred member organizations out there, and there's probably not a one that isn't thinking about esports.
Oh, you have to be thinking about esports because it is big, big business. And in fact, one of the things that I had learned, whether it's true or not, but I believe it, the revenue that comes in from esports is more than the NFL, NBA, and hockey combined.
Well, when you're talking about video gaming in general, I'll give you the data point I gave in the interview I had earlier today, is that when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, in the first 3 weeks of sales, it outsold the 9-year history of Titanic playing in a movie theater. So that's the #1 grossing movie of all time. So you think about, at that time it was #1. So that means you think about that in just a matter of 3 weeks, eclipsing that. That shows you that market is much larger. And here we are, every Monday morning we hear top 3 movies of the weekend were, and we don't hear that about gaming, yet the market is bigger.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you're right. And I think that it's been historically looked at as something that a bunch of kids do in their basement. But as that doctor at the president of Talladega University pointed out, we're embracing those students and turning them into professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, you cannot, if you're in the AV industry and you're not paying attention to esports and the potential in esports, and it's why even do business? Because it is the biggest thing that we're going to see. And
we're going to do a couple more interviews here over the course of the next 2 days, and I'm actually going to be here on Friday presenting sort of like a little bit of everything you need to know to get interested in starting an esports venue on your campus at 10, I think it's at 10:30 a.m. on Friday morning, 10:20 a.m. on Friday morning, one of those two. I'm excited to be doing that. And Joe, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having
Thanks
me.
for all you've done in the higher ed community and for your advocate, becoming an advocate for all of us. I appreciate it. And thanks for joining us. All of our InfoComm coverage is at ravepubs.com/InfoComm.